go ball. Like I've already talked to Coach Franklin of Penn State about him. He already hit me up about him through our head coach in Newbury Park High School, just like, hey, I'm watching your son.
Damn,
Like,
already.
man, this kid's a freak. Yeah, and then he's on the top AAU basketball team in the state, which is out of sports academies, where all the videos you see happening, like for basketball. So he was on their top 11U team and 12U team. He plays on both, but mostly 11 because he gets more playing time.
Yeah.
Because they move him up to 12, and the parents get pissed because he plays more than their kids. So he's crushing it for them. And then my daughter, as you know, is a weightlifter. She's just the national champ and just crushing every local meet she goes to. And then she also is on the top volleyball team in the state. And she's the youngest, but she just got into the starting rotation last tournament. So that's a matter of time before she's a freak at that. So it's just like,
that's rad, man.
Like tournament to tournament. I saw 10 games one weekend. 2 weeks ago, I saw 10 games, like Saturday and Sunday between the two of them. So busy. Which has in a good way, crushed my, traveling career of CrossFit weightlifting coach, because I can't go anywhere, which I love because I really don't want to go anywhere anymore. I just talked to my High Rocks athletes, like, oh, we're excited to see you in Worlds Coach in Manchester. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to Manchester, guys. Like, yeah,
fuck yeah.
You guys are remote for a year. I don't think you need me at this race. I haven't been in any of your races. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, just little things. And then, yeah, man, just the business. So I had enough of CrossFitters finally. I love CrossFit and I love my members, but I've had enough of elite children working out fast for time with no money. So the team shows up February. Hey, we're gonna start working out, getting ready we're excited, coach. We're excited for regionals this year. And I'm just like, guys, you haven't been in my gym since July last year. Like, what the fuck? I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you. Like, now you just want to come in and start and do the open here, and I'm supposed to judge you and pay for your entry fees and all that shit. Like, I feel used. Well, they're all just like, well, it's too hard to get in here. But I'm like, I got 150 members to get in here every single day. Why the fuck can't you? Why are you any different?
Exactly.
Just all these excuses. And I said, well, no, we're not going to have a regional team this year. And I dropped the whole team.
Wow.
Dropped them all, no team. And I took that $8,000, which I'll spend on the team, and I hired a PR firm to do all of our marketing for the next 3 months, and I want to see how that's going to go. I want to see if that's going to increase revenue, increase membership. Like, we've never had that, we've never done that, and we've had the money, but a lot of gyms don't have that kind of income. We do. So I'm like, why am I not putting this back into the gym?
Yep.
And in reality, I just want to stop remote programming. I'm so sick and tired of having 25 deadlines every Sunday.
Yeah.
So I just want to get rid of that. I want the gym to sustain the rest of my income. And I just want to fucking watch my kids grow up over the next 8 years. That's all I want to do.
That's why you grinded so much in the beginning to build Precision to what it is, to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just want to, and then from there, all I want to do is I want to sell the gym when they turn 18, 19, and then, because it's worth quite a bit. And then I want to just travel wherever the fuck they're playing college ball.
There you
That's
go.
what I want to do.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
So that's what I got. That's what I'm up to. How about you?
Oh, man. Well, I opened another new gym, put it in a barn, which is fucking rad, and it's been going.
Okay.
It's been going great. Just crushing the kids right now. Getting just I only do 2 adult groups, one in the morning, one at night, and all the rest is for kids.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I have some remote clients, but other than that, I'm just doing the high school kids, getting ready to start coaching track here in a couple weeks. One state last year, trying to go back-to-back in a couple throwing events.
Oh.
My girlfriend just moved in, so this month has been fucked because we've been moving around like crazy, and it's just been nuts. And then I leave for the Arnold next week, and because I got a client who's competing in the IPL World, so it's like I'm going to be out there for 4 days. And then, it's just track season, so that's about it,
good.
man.
Yes, I'm coaching football, so I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So every fall, I'm back in the saddle with that, which is awesome. Because people don't know this, but I coached college football for 7 years.
Yeah.
And then I found CrossFit, and it just took me on this long 13-year hiatus, so then getting back into the sideline this last summer for my son's team really lit a fire. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because that's why I went to college to get a Master of Arts in Teaching, teach history, and be a football coach. And I was actually hired to be Calabasas High School's head coach in 2006. and I turned it down because the money was so bad. I went back to Oxy to be a coach. So like that's my background, and so now that I'm coaching football again, it was like riding a bike. Came back so fast.
Yeah.
And we went all the way to the Super Bowl. And we played in SoFi. You know, it was like, so clearly I can coach football.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't actually know if I'm going to coach football this year because I was coaching with my brother last year, and he promised that it'd pay me one thing, and they didn't pay me that. And then, like, didn't even get invited to the team banquet. Didn't even get coaches' shirts or hats like he gave all the other coaches. He asked me to go coach his junior varsity defense. He's like, can you go call a defensive game? Like 2 hours before the start of the game, and it's an hour and 45-minute drive. And he asked me if I can go coach it. So I go down there and I coach, and I run the defense to a shutout, 5 turnovers, and a block punt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even say thank you. So I'm like, you know what? I love you. You're my brother, but fuck you. Like so I applied to be the head coaching job of one of his rival schools. So, yeah, I'm a dick, but fuck it. They're the preseason #1 team in the state, and if I can, I don't care if we don't win a single game. If I win one game, that's all that matters.
One of my thoughts is to run this Steelers program because we have a great coaching staff, and then I'm the D coordinator because I don't want to be the head guy.
Yeah.
But the senior team, that's the 8th grade team, keeps asking if I'll be the head coach, and they really want. Can I do 2 teams in all my schedule? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then my thought though is that this head coach his son is like the #1 his son is the #1 freshman quarterback in the state, Brady Smigel, and he's a stud. But I think when he graduates and Brady goes to college, I have a feeling Joe, the head coach, is going to leave too.
Ooh.
And so my thought is, can I put myself in position to take over the head coaching job at my alma mater when he leaves? Because I almost got the job. I made it to the final interview process in 2008. I actually applied. 2008 when my head coach that coached me stepped down, and I made it to the top 3. That was before I really had any of the experience I have now. So I'm like, I wonder if I would get it now. So I was like, especially if I'm so part of the youth program, and like, you know, if I'm like building up every feeder that goes into the school, why would you not want to hire the person that's bringing every athlete into the schools?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but then I can coach my kid in high school too. Right now, I'm going to be the strength coach after this season. I'm taking over the strength conditioning.
Oh, good.
They got me at a really cheap rate because I just want to be there for my kid.
For sure.
So
yeah, man, for sure.
Busy, man. A lot going on.
Absolutely. Well, cool. Do you want to make this a regular thing? Like, do you want to do like one once a month? Do you got time to do 2 a month? I don't really have the time to be able to do anything more than that, but I've been thinking about just, because I would like to, I've been wanting to bring this thing back and do it and make it just about kind of like what we always talk about, just about strength and conditioning.
I'm down. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Maybe people will actually listen to us. Honestly, people need to get more educated on this shit though lately, man. That's been pissing me off. I've seen so much dumb shit out there. I always tell them, what the fuck is that? I'm going off on like Instagram bullshit. These motherfuckers posting shit on Instagram with absolutely no expertise of what they're talking about.
None. It's frustrating. Well, cool. So I've been recording, so we're good. So I'll be able to go back in and edit this. But
okay.
We'll just, if you're ready to get rocking, we'll get rocking.
Yeah, let's roll, Brody.
Cool. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Elite Athlete Development Podcast. This is the second launch of this podcast. And moving forward, we're going to be doing something completely awesome and amazing. This is going to be now a 2-man show because one of my really good friends, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches on the planet, Mr. Mike Tromello, is going to be co-hosting. So now there's 2 incredibly gorgeous bald men that are going to be talking strength and conditioning every other week. So, Mike, thanks for coming on and thanks for partnering up and joining the team.
Dude, I'm stoked to be here, and I'm excited to share the screen with such a beautiful man as yourself. It looks very much like me.
Yeah, you know, you still got the mustache goatee. I kind of am just going with the I'm too lazy to do anything look, so.
You got that Washington look. I got that SoCal vibe. So that's the difference. You know, if I moved to Washington, I might just let it grow out too.
Yeah.
Like a real bushy beard.
Exactly.
Not in SoCal.
Well, for this first episode, I've been thinking about this because we were supposed to do one last week, and then of course I screwed it up and forgot all the recording stuff at the gym. So I've had some time to think about this. So I'm going to surprise you with something. We've had no prep for this. I'm just going to hit Mike with this.
Okay.
The first topic that we're going to do: 3 things that I think you and I can agree on in strength and conditioning.
Okay.
First thing that I think, and let's give a little background here. So I met Mike, God, what's it going on, about 5 or 6 years ago? He was hosting at CrossFit Boathouse in Santa Barbara. He came up and was teaching some Olympic lifts, and I went and got my ass kicked by Mike. And he and I just hit it off, and we've been in contact ever since I moved back, and we recorded an episode about a year or so ago, and then we decided to revisit it. So he and I are always in constant contact, breaking each other's balls over social media and text message. So I think I know Mike pretty well as a strength coach, and I think Mike knows me pretty well as a strength coach. So 3 things I think we can agree on. Number 1, and this whole topic is going to be centered around teenagers and let's say 7th grade to college.
Got you. Feel you.
Okay, number 1. There is a lack of focused strength training right now at the high school level, and kids need more strength training.
I mean, is there any strength training at all at the high school level?
Fair question.
That's a great thing you bring up. I was thinking about the other day, like just at a local high school that I know about, there's a personal trainer doing strength and conditioning for a football team, and this guy doesn't believe in deadlifts and cleans. And I'm just like, that's not a strength and conditioning coach. That's a personal trainer who has bad qualifications. That's training kids. And so, yeah, you're not going to get hurt. It may be in the weight room. That's because that's the big worry, right? Kids are going to get hurt in the weight room. That's also what we call user error, bad coaching. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, well, isn't the idea of strength and conditioning so kids don't get hurt in the field? And so you're not doing the things that they need to essentially get them strong enough to be in the field to be in a strong team. So there's a big lack of it. And there's a lack of schools willing to pay for it. That's also a big problem.
Do you think that the schools I wouldn't say lack, but inability to want to pay for it is really what it comes down to, or do they just really don't care?
I think it's priorities. I mean, so I was at another local high school out here, and they wanted to pay for a strength coach. So the way they did it was I got hired through the district, and then every single coach, like varsity track coach, varsity lacrosse coach, varsity water polo coach, their separate coaching staff would make you an assistant coach with their budget. Hey, Mike, I can give you $1,500 for the next 3 months. Hey, Mike, I can give you $2,000 for the next 3 months. That's how they would negotiate with you as a strength coach. Can you help my team out? Can you do twice a week, 45 minutes? And you would say yay or nay, right? But they would take it out of their individual budget. Okay. So another school that I'm working with right now, they're taking out of the football budget for a strength coach, right? So it is there. But do you want to hire that extra jump coach if you're the track team, or do you want to hire the strength coach? You have to make a decision. So a lot of teams will just go, I need one more varsity assistant baseball coach. Well, do you? Or do you need a strength coach? So I think there's budgeting, at least in California, there's budgeting for it, but it's where are they allocating the funds?
Now, how much do you think a coach's ego plays into the decision to want to give up some of their budget?
I mean, ego, I wouldn't say ego in terms of money. I don't think it's that. I think it's ego in terms of they think they can do it all.
There you go.
But especially a football coach. I mean, football coaches think that because they play football, therefore that makes them the best strength coach on the planet. Just because you played a sport does not give you the education to train athletes. It does not in the slightest. And so I see a lot of football coaches out there still thinking that they know how to teach. They bench and back squat for football, and then they try and give you this bastardized version of a clean, and it's not even what it's supposed to be. And these kids just aren't qualified. I watched another team when I was strength training for this high school I was at, and I watched the new football coach take over their strength and conditioning program. And let me tell you, it was a bunch of sled work and bad sandbag pickups, and just circuit training every day for an hour. I just watched circuit training. I'm like, well, that's not going to make you stronger. It's going to make you in shape, though. It's not going to make you stronger. So there's a lot of things that I see, and the football coaches just think that they can do it themselves because they know.
Yeah, that's definitely something that is extremely prevalent up here is the coaches who, and that's why I brought up the budget, because the high school football, there's actually a decent bit of money in there. Like, I've talked to multiple coaches up here in our county, and they're like, we can get anything that we want, and there's no price point because we'll just fundraise for it.
Boy, there you go. You can do that out here too.
Yep, but do they prioritize strength and conditioning? No, because they'll take... I know a school up here that got new uniforms for the 3rd year in a row. Like, what do you need to buy $10,000 worth of new uniforms for the 3rd year in a row?
You know what I'll say about that, and that's something that I do with our, because I told you I'm coaching our youth football program as
Mm-hmm.
the D coordinator, and I've had a lot of, I'm very close to the president of the organization and the head equipment guy, and their thought process behind the new uniforms every year is honestly getting kids to play. And so we're in a world of social media. I think we brought this up before this turned on. And social media is what kids, even 12-year-olds, are looking at on their phones to sign up and play football. And if they have the new flashy uniform that looks really cool on camera, kids are likely to sign up and go to that school. I mean, look at the Division I recruiting now. How many highlight videos do you see of a kid wearing the USC uniform, the Oregon Duck uniform, and like the stadium? They make this little highlight film just to get them to commit to the school.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the uniform thing is almost like a way of getting kids that want to play for your high school. And I think that's their thought process behind it, is new uniforms equal kids that are going to want to play. I convinced our organization to go with really, really, really cool uniforms one time and not put names on the back so we can reuse them, because like we can use the budget for other things, and they're going to do that this year. But like, that's the reasoning. It's how cool does this look on social media?
Yeah.
So they can get kids to play.
Yeah.
It's an interesting argument.
Yeah. So what do we do to try to get more kids strength training? Because we're not going to get help from the schools. We're not going to get help from a lot of the coaches. I will say this. So before we bash a lot of coaches, there are some good coaches out there that know know they don't know and are willing to be open to having somebody come in and help, because they're like, I know what I do. I coach football. I'm a lawyer by trade. I'm a teacher. Like, I don't know how to teach a power clean, so let me pay somebody to do it. So what can we do as strength coaches and as gym owners to help turn this thing around? Because kids today are just flat out weak.
Yeah, honestly, I think the first thing you can do as a strength and conditioning coach is be comfortable financially in your own skin and doing what you do outside of the school function. So like because here's the deal, the biggest issue with strength and conditioning is we are the most qualified coaches. We are essentially sports scientists who are coaching kids, but we don't get paid like sports scientists. We get paid like janitors.
Yeah.
Right. So in order for us to be able to strength train kids and actually truly help kids, we have to financially be supported. Well, we can't rely on the schools to financially support us. That is not going to happen. So it's just extra money.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's extra money, it's great. So you're doing it. I do it. I own a gym that's successful. You have 2 gyms that are successful, right? You have private clients that pay you. You live comfortably. I live comfortably, so I can go to my local high school, because my son's going to go to a local high school, and I can say, hey, I want to be your strength coach. I don't care about the money. Just pay me whatever you can afford. I want to take over this team.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because I can afford $1,000. Great, I'll take $1,000. You know what I mean? Like, so like, the only way we can do it is true good professionals have to be professional enough to build their own financial structure that works for them, and then they can go help a bunch of kids by saying, I'll just do it for pennies on the dollar because I just want to help.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where I think we're at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's about discounted rates, and it sucks, but that's the world we live
in. Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right there. Okay. The second thing in terms of high school kids and young developing athletes that I think that you and I are agreeing on is that their nutrition is shit. And we need a better job of educating these kids on how to eat to train, how to eat to recover, and how to eat to perform.
Horrible. Their nutrition is horrible. And, I dealt with it firsthand with my youth team this year. I had a bunch of kids that had to lose weight. They had to make weight, because you have to weigh a certain amount of weight. It's absurd that your kids have to lose weight. The GCYFL, that's what we play in. It's a great league. But, like, my son was a gigantic 10-year-old last year, and he had to weigh 100 pounds to play football, but the lineman could pay 130. So if you're a 130 pound, you could be an X player, only play offensive or defensive line. But if you're anything else, you had to be 100 pounds. So it's weird is a 130 pound kid can tackle a 100 pound kid, and that's okay. But no, that's another conversation.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Being a 5 foot, at that time he was about 5'8". He's a huge quarterback. Weighed 110 pounds. My son weighed 110 pounds at the summer, starting in the beginning of the summer. So he had to go on a diet to lose 10 pounds. Let me tell you what this diet was. This diet was exactly how we teach people to eat normally. All my son went on was a high protein, low processed carb diet. So high protein, fruits and vegetables, right? Eat whenever you're hungry, eat high protein fruits and vegetables. Beef jerky as a snack, apple, banana, right? Like breakfast was ham and eggs. Lunch was, like a cheeseburger, like that we made ourselves with apple slices. Dinner was, roasted chicken and roasted vegetables, right? This is like basic stuff. No artificial food, no sweets, right? No ice cream, no cake, no donuts, none of that, right?
Sure.
I gave him a cheat day every couple of weeks where he could have whatever he wanted, and the kid lost 12 pounds.
Just like
overnight. Just eating properly, right? But he didn't lose strength, he didn't lose size, he just lost weight. He lost a lot of processed water weight, a lot of extra crap that was in the system, right? The sugar, and I think we got down like 3 pounds under, and then we did a water cut to make the rest, which was easy for a kid to do. But then I had a bunch of other kids in the same boat, and some of these kids were like, "Oh, I'm 5 pounds away, and we're 3 weeks out. Go on this diet, literally just how to eat right diet," and they all lost the weight, and they all made weight easily. It just goes to show, just proper nutrition goes so far, just in kids. If you want them to be elite athletes, my son wasn't starved. He ate plenty of food. He just ate correct food. Right now he's sitting 12 pounds over what he's supposed to be next year. He's supposed to be 120. He's supposed to be 110 this next season. He's 120. But I know for a fact, as soon as I tighten this diet up, he's going to cut all that weight back to where he was last year. So I'm like, that's the thing. And I talk to kids all the time, and I'm always in my gym talking to kids, and we're always talking about nutrition, supplements. I get the creatine question all the time, and I'm just like, just eat more chicken, just eat more steak. Just eat this, just eat that. Well, I'm trying to gain weight. Okay, eat this. And they just have no idea. There's no education. And you can educate a kid as much as you can, but the problem is it's not the kids. The problem is their parents.
It's the parents.
They take the parents too, and the parents have to get on board. But a lot of the parents don't have enough money. I'm also dealing with the fact that a lot of parents, this is Southern California, man. It's not exactly where I'm at. I tell people all the time, my gym's in Agora Hills. My neighbors are Malibu, Westlake, Calabasas. Right? If you ever have watched anything on any network, you know where Malibu is, you know where Calabasas is, right? That's the Kardashians. You know that this is like literally SoCal Central when it comes to like beautiful people, right?
Right.
Well, a lot of people here can't actually afford to live here. A lot of parents have 2 or 3 jobs. Like expenses have gone up a lot. Chris, being in Santa Barbara, another beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. So I have a parent ask me what fast food would she can feed her kid that'll be the most nutritious for him because he just can't afford to buy groceries.
Damn.
And McDonald's and the dollar menu is cheaper.
That's fucked up, man, because if that's where we're at as a country right now, because of the way things are going right now, that parents are like, I can't afford wholesome food, so what fast food? We're playing, oh my God, okay, that's a whole nother tangent topic, though. Oh my God.
I'm dealing with that question right now.
That's insane.
I answered that question last week for a great softball player. Kid's an elite softball player. She's a beast. I know the mom's budget. She can't only afford so much. She's like, I can only get some things. I gotta get McDonald's. Shit.
Okay, so then what? When you're in that situation, then like you got a dollar menu. Where are you? Let's play the game. Let's help these parents out. Let's educate them a little bit. Okay, you got $10. You got to try to feed your kid. And where are you going? What dollar menu are you hitting? And then what are we ordering?
You know what? Like, I actually, what's funny about McDonald's is we give McDonald's don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's healthy. So everyone listening, I'm not saying McDonald's is super healthy, but I will say this. We've given McDonald's so much shit over the years. It's actually gotten way healthy for fast food. McDonald's has done a big number on trying to make their stuff way healthier because they were like the number one loser in fast food, right? So to be honest, McDonald's actually has gotten a lot better.
Well, yeah, they got those chicken wraps. You can get grilled chicken breast in a chicken wrap.
And they use real meat in their burgers now. They used to be like whatever the heck they put in there. But like, so I tell people now, it's like, if you're going to go on the dollar menu, we'll get your kid 3 cheeseburgers and just lose the buns on the other 2 and put all the patties in the one burger. And you have there's a lot of protein in there. There's your protein in your carb. That's a processed carb, but it's better than
nothing.
4 to 3 burger buns.
Yeah.
Just have 1 burger bun with that. So it's kind of like combining food, right? That's kind of what I've been using. Like, they have salads, they have those wraps that you talked about, but I'm looking for high protein, right? So I'm looking for high protein, and the best bet you can get is the burgers, or like they have chicken sandwiches. Hey, get 2 chicken sandwiches, only eat 1 sandwich actually as it is, and eat the other one without the bread.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it'll work. it'll work well enough, you know.
Well, when it comes to the lesser of two evils, it's either let's get the some burgers or a chicken sandwich that you can kind of manipulate and make a little bit better, or they're going to give them an energy drink and a bag of chips and a Snickers.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's...
Happy Meals, they eat all these fries and eat all this crap. So,
yeah.
Remember, I don't know if you ever say this, but I always say this. Whenever you go to a restaurant, right, and you order something, like I always use the Marriott as an example. So if you're staying at a Marriott when you go to the Arnold next weekend, you can always look this up. So you buy a salad at the Marriott. Marriott always has this great salad. You can get a Caesar salad or a house salad, right? And then it says add protein. It'll be 4 ounces of chicken, $7. 4 ounces of steak as an option, $8. 4 ounces of shrimp, $8, right?
Right.
And you're like looking at it, but then the salad itself is $12. You're like, okay, well, I have all carbs in this salad. Well, I always look at the person and go, I'll have all 3 proteins. You want the chicken, the shrimp, and the steak? Yeah, I want all 3. So now my salad went from $12 to $36, just like that.
Yep.
By adding the protein. Protein is way more expensive to purchase than carbs. Carbs are cheap and they fill you up. So proteins want you. So that's why when you go to a restaurant, you go to like Cheesecake Factory, it's a bunch of mashed potatoes and like processed vegetables, because they're like, and then it's always 4 ounces of protein, because 4 ounces of protein is cheap, and then the rest of the plate is carbs, pasta, carbs. So it's cheap, so they want you to fill up on the carbs and not eat the protein. So whenever you ask for extra protein or double meat, it's always a substantial increase in charge because it's expensive. So they don't want you to buy it. So that's why I tell people. So it's all about eating the protein, which is expensive to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks because we get our ground beef from a local farmer. It's about a mile from our house, and you know their prices are outrageous. They're $5 a pound for 98% lean ground beef.
I order from a local butcher shop. Same thing. It's a mile up the road from me. Local butcher. I love it. Yeah. But
I was looking at store bought beef today. It's $9.99 a pound for 90%, and I can get it from my farmer for $5 a pound. So shop local, find farmers, you lazy fucks.
Yes, farmers markets are the best, and so is same with butcher shops. But the problem is, they really are going few and far between. Like farmers markets exist out here big time, but butcher shops, man. I know of one. It's up the street from my house, and what's sad is we're moving 25 minutes away from where we're at right now over the summer. We're moving to where our kids are going to go to school, so we're going to have to drive 25 minutes to this butcher shop now once we move.
Yeah. So, yeah, but if you're like us, you know, like we bought a quarter of a cow one year. We're thinking about buying a half a cow. So then you have, 200 pounds of meat sitting in your freezer. You're going to be good to go for a while.
We are talking about sharing a cow with another family actually as we speak. Yeah, that's an option we're all thinking about.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, man. I mean, we ate 100 pounds of cow in like no time at all. So,
I know, it's crazy how much you eat.
Yeah, it's insane. It's stupid.
I know, it's nuts.
Okay, third and final thing that I think that you and I can agree on in terms of teenagers and strength and conditioning is that because of the prevalence of these tiny little computers that we wear on our wrists and keep in our pockets, that screen time has skyrocketed and created a bunch of zombies addicted to blue light. So I think you and I can agree on that. Kids need less screen time and more play time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you were coaching football last year, right? You went to 7-on-7 tournaments.
No, we don't do 7-on. I mean, kids do 7-on-7, but we don't encourage the kids to do 7-on-7.
Oh man, you should see these 7-on-7 tournaments. I've never seen so many kids score touchdowns, take out their cell phones, and do selfies with the ball. Like, it's disgusting. Like, it's like you have a cell phone in your pocket while you're scoring that touchdown. Like, that was it's all about a social media show. And then what's really funny about it is I'll see coaches out there that will be filming all this stuff with their cell phone just to so they can make hype videos. And I'm like, last I checked, we beat you guys 35-0 during the regular football season. Do you think you should have your cell phone out right now? Or is it because 7-on-7 really doesn't mean anything in terms of real football? And it's so that's one example. But I see kids, at least not in front of me, but I see kids on their cell phone 24/7. And you think about it, it's got their email, it's got their music now, it's their video, it's their social life, it is everything. And so the biggest problem too that I'm seeing is kids aren't learning how to socialize anymore because of their cell phone.
Yep.
Like, they can't talk and look you in the eye. So it's really important when you have a kid that can, because that kid's gonna be special. as a coach, whether it's coaching strength or football, because they're going to be paying attention. The rest, man, if it's not on their phone, they don't know how to interact. It's a massive problem.
It's a huge problem.
My kid's got a cell phone. He forgets it all the time, which is good because he's not addicted to it. I think another thing as parents are using cell phones as a way to not have to parent their kids anymore.
Oh, LifeLock 360 or whatever that thing is, where they can track your kids 24 hours a day.
Yeah, but they're also using it as a fact to not have to keep them entertained.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm home doing work and my kid's on a cell phone. I'm good. Well, no, my son's my son will sit here if we have nothing to do, and he will throw a basketball at me until I'm ready. He's like, "We're gonna play basketball. Let's go. I want to play hoops. I want to go to the park. And he just throws a ball at me until I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
That's my kids. They are constantly doing sport. They don't have time for screen time. And when they do, it's a blessing because they have time for screen time.
Right.
But you have to give them things to do besides the screen. That's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. So I had a kid that started with me end of January, right? He's an 8th grader.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, we need to work on his nutrition first. He's playing on 2 basketball teams right now, so twice a week in the gym is about all we can do. And I was like, no worries. And then in the spring, he's a shot putter, so he's going to start throwing shot. But anyways, I was like, cool, well, we're not going to focus on nutrition. Because I looked at him, I was like, what time do you go to bed? He's like, I don't know, between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. I'm like, in the morning? He's like, yeah. And I go, on a school night? He's like, yeah. And I go, well, what time do you get up? He's like, I don't know, 6:30 to try to get ready for school. And I'm like, okay. First things first here, bro. You have a new bedtime. Your bedtime is now 10:30. Yeah. And I looked at his dad and I was like, make sure his phone is out of his room. Get an old school analog alarm clock and put it in his room if you don't want to wake him up. But he's got no technology. So we did that for a couple weeks, and his sleep went through the roof. The dark circles left his eyes, and he actually had a cool personality. Well, the other week I asked him, because he'd been, going on 7-8 weeks. I'm like, Hatch, man, what's going on? How's the sleep? He's like, great. I'm like, how's the food? And he's just like, great. I'm living the 90% life like you taught me. I was like, cool. How are your grades? Nice. He's like, well, check this out, man. He's like, I'm getting all A's and a B now. I was like, what were you getting before? He's like, all F's and a D. So just by getting him to change his sleep schedule so he's more cognitively aware, now he's just automatically getting better grades. It's like, it blows my mind how many parents are like, yes, you can have your phone in your room. Yes, you can have access to all this stuff. And then they wonder why their kids are walking zombies at school and during the day.
Yeah, that's another thing. You bring up a great point. Another thing, too, is, and teachers, just newer school teachers are starting to be aware of this, is homework. A lot of these older school teachers were giving these kids so much homework that they just couldn't get it done. So they're up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, just trying to get their work done. On top of being athletes. That's also not something it's been proven that homework does not help. And so a lot of studies out there saying how homework is just maybe to reinforce, maybe to finish up what you didn't do in class, but you shouldn't have extra work on top of that. It just doesn't help. So my kids have some pretty good teachers this year, and they don't have a lot of homework, maybe 20 minutes. It's nothing crazy. And my wife is very adamant about putting the entire family to bed at 9:30. The entire family is in the room. She turns off every light, everything's off. I'm still watching. Nah, okay, I guess I'm going to bed. That's my wife. My wife, so my wife is an athlete too, and so she puts the whole family to bed at 9:30. They don't have cell phones in their room. My daughter doesn't have one yet anyway. She has a laptop, but she turns it off. My son has a cell phone, but he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And they are in their room at 9:30. My son will sleep if we let him till 9 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy. You have to wake him up. It's like a handful. My daughter's up every morning, 6 a.m. on the dot, in the shower. She's very regimented. She's like my wife. She's an early riser. I'm not. And they're at 11 and 10, they're athletes. They live that athlete life. They eat right. They go to bed at the right time. They get up. And my wife and I lead by example. I don't think I said this to you when I was talking to you earlier, but my wife made Team USA as a weightlifter. So my wife's a Team USA weightlifter.
Awesome.
My daughter's a Team USA weightlifter. She plays volleyball. My son's football and basketball. I have a big athletic background. So it's everyone in my family, it's an athlete lifestyle for the kids. But not a lot of kids have that background. Not a lot of kids have those resources with their own parents my kids do. Yeah.
It's funny you say the bedtimes because, my girlfriend and I are the same way. She's got 2 little girls, 7 and 5. And it's they're in bed at 8 o'clock every night. They get read a story, and then it's lights out. And, if they want to sing and do whatever, but it's cool, lights are all out. And then her and I, we have our alone time from 8 to 9. And then she knows that I have to be up super early. So she's like, cool, we're in bed, we're lights out at 9 o'clock. We hang out, we chat till like 9:30, so we get like that hour and a half of quality time.
Yeah.
And and the girls are, boom, 6 a.m. They're like fucking train wrecks in the house. I call them little hurricanes. They're a Category 7 and a Category 5 hurricane. But from 8 to 6, 10 hours of sleep every night, and they're rock stars.
I call my daughter the Riley Tornado. Freaking Rome is Riley stuff everywhere she goes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Little girls in general, boys are a lot more organized. I see that.
Yeah, I can see that because these girls are they destroy every room that they walk into. It's really, really fun.
It's not just you're not alone, man.
Nope.
It's all girls.
No, I'm surrounded by girls now.
No stops.
No. All right, so we got our 3 things that I think that you and I agreed. I think I went 3 for 3 on that. Wouldn't you say?
I would say you're correct, yes.
Okay, I'm going to come out swinging on this first one because 3 things that I think that you and I will disagree on. And as much as I tried to think about 3, I could only really come up with 1 because you and I are so much alike in so much stuff.
I'm curious what this one thing is then.
I'm going to come out swinging with this. That and this is where we disagree, but I don't think that Olympic lifting is the end-all be-all when it comes to developing explosive strength in a developing teenage athlete.
Well, I 100% agree with you, actually.
Oh, shit!
Bro, that wasn't swinging. I think it's great. I love it. I love the clean jerk snatch. I think it's awesome, but like I've worked with so many. This comes from, I think if you had asked me this question 10, 12 years ago, I would argue with you.
Yep.
But working with so many different coaches, I'll get basketball, for example. I worked at Harvard Westlake basketball. If you follow youth basketball, you know that Harvard Westlake basketball is a legit basketball program in the country.
Top 10 country.
It's in the same league as Sierra Canyon, which is where had LeBron James' son and all that. Coach didn't like hang cleans, and rightfully so. He was afraid of the wrist action getting destroyed on the shot from the fall through the clean.
Yep.
Yeah, and baseball coaches don't like it because they're afraid of like the wrist action and like you get it. Like, so you're like, okay, yeah, I can understand how that, especially if it's caught the wrong way, how that would be bad on the wrist, and they're already taking a lot of risks. So I started doing a lot of weighted squat holds and a lot of weighted wall sits into explosive box jumps, stuff like that. It's all explosiveness is explosives, right? A clean is triple extension and a load, is it not? So all I need is to do triple extension and a load. It doesn't have to be clean.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to develop explosive strength with the clean or any weightlift. You can just do anything to develop explosive strength as long as it's jumping, really.
Yeah.
So you just need someone to jump right, plyometric, and you have explosive strength. So sorry, buddy, we agree on this.
I was so hyped.
Maybe the reason why you don't like it is because you don't know how to coach it as well as me. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that I don't like coaching it. I don't have the years experience that you have coaching it. But you said it. Triple extension it's a jump. So if I can teach a kid a seated box jump in 2 minutes or a 2-position hang clean in 20, I'm going to take the 2-minute one so I can spend more time developing other skills to eventually get to the point to where we can combine all the skills to then go into that hang clean. And I think a lot of high school coaches, here we go again. High school coaches specifically, they think, I did the hang cleans in high school 57 years ago, so I'm going to make my kids do them. It's like, cool, how do you coach them? Oh, I don't know, I just show them.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you know, I think you know this, Chris. I wrote a book, adolescent strength and conditioning book called Building the Beast. And it gets shared all over. A lot of private schools use it. Actually, all my best friends have the copy of the book now because they have kids that are 9, 10 years old. And I use it on my own kids. And it has all 5 phases of my programming that I use to develop kids. And
nice.
It starts with squat jumps, and then box jumps, and then broad jumps. And it's all these jumps. And then by phase 4, they're learning high pulls.
Yeah.
So like literally, I think I am believing phase 3 they have kettlebell swing. So so you have jumping. We have swinging, right, for hip extension, and then we go do a high pull. I want you to do a kettlebell swing, and I want you to jump, and also the bar comes straight up. Like, like that, yeah. And then you teach them that, and then you teach them the clean. But by the time you've gone through all those four phases, the clean comes like overnight because all it is that's the rack position from the squat I learned in phase 1.
Yep.
And it all compounds on each other to create the clean. that takes maybe 4 to 5 months before you even get to that point, though.
Yeah.
And they're doing all these other things before that, though. Developing all this other strength.
All these other skills, yeah.
But when it comes to kids, you're 100% correct. You teach them everything else first, and then you teach the clean last after they develop the musculature and the coordination to do it clean.
Yeah.
You don't just go, watch me do this. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I was working with one high school and this summer, and they're like, for our summer program, and they're like, why don't you have power cleans programmed? I was like, because I can't be here all the time to coach it. You don't know how to coach it, and these kids don't have the technical skill to be able to do it. And they're like, well, Instagram says that the power clean is the best way to develop explosive strength. And I was just like, that may or may not be true depending on who you're listening to, but you have kids that can't do a body weight squat without their knees making out in the bottom of the squat. You don't have kids that can do a dead body hang, let alone a chin up. They can't do a dead body hang for 30 seconds, let alone do a chin up. So it's like, your kids can't even control body weight. So why would you want to put a bar in their hands to do a highly skilled technical movement, which you are not qualified? And then they argue with me back and forth. And I was like, cool. How much do you charge? How much will you charge me to do your taxes? Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'm not paying you to do my taxes. I said, then why are you trying to tell me that you're going to teach kids how to power clean? You are the farthest fucking thing from a strength coach.
Yeah. So I know. And then the thing, and let's be realistic, right? There's a lot of great strength coaches out there, out there that don't know how to teach the weight lifts, right? It doesn't mean that they're not great strength coaches. They just means they don't believe in the weight lifts. They mean they'd rather teach the power lifts and then do the explosive lifts, like you were saying, like explosive movements.
Yep.
So like that doesn't make you a bad strength coach. I started as an Olympic weightlifting coach. That was how I started in strength and conditioning. So that's my background, and then I grew got my different tools and became a full-fledged strength coach and doing what I do. But like, you said it right. Instagram, IG, TikTok, right? This is the world we live in. We're like, well, TikTok and Instagram says this. It's like, well, when was that a source? When was that a credible source? I had best friends sending me like, because some of these guys are political, so I want a group text, and they're sharing Instagram screenshots or a screen, and I'm like, you're sharing your sources Instagram? When did we as a society forget that there were actual like journals and like actual like really well educatedly written things that you can look up like in a library? I think we forgot about what those were.
Yeah.
But no, it's on Instagram, so that makes it official. When the hell was Instagram official for anything? It drives me up a wall. It's like, no, it's just a source for it's entertainment, and it's perceived. It's someone's perception of what they think they want you to see, and it's also an algorithm that's showing you what you want to see based on what you've clicked on previously.
Yep.
It's all, what the hell? Like, they're just in their dreams. It's insane. They're just entrenched with it. It shocks me.
Yeah. I mean, my theory behind that is it's quick and it's easy, and they don't have to put in any work to look at anything. It's like, you can't tell a kid right now, it's like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go read the first third of Super Training and tell me everything that you learned from Mel Siff about dynamic effort and explosive movements. And they're like, no, I'm on Instagram looking up super training, explosive lifts, dynamic effort. It's just because it's quick and it's easy. It's like, I was listening to a talk show the other day, and the guy was talking about a bunch of different stuff, but he made the comparison that today it's like, it's Google versus an encyclopedia. Where are you going to go to get your information? Google is a 30-second type it out, search it, find it, report it.
Talk.
Or actually open up a book.
Yeah, no one doesn't do that anymore. I mean, I barely open up a book now. I mean, I do trust Google enough to tell me what book I should pick up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Google, I need to know. And then Google, like, well, this book, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll find that book. Like, I'll use it. Google is a great reference now. Everything's faster and expedited. But I feel you. I hope I hear what you're saying. I
mean, in my books, like right now, that's what I was just looking around on my desk. It's like, what books do I have?
On my desk. I have a lot of books laying around my desk right now.
Yeah. So right off the top, right here, just the ones that I can see that aren't covered in papers. You got Triphasic by Cal Dietz. You got The Science and Practice of Strength Training by Zatsiorski. I got all the Westside Barbell Book of Methods. And then I have Joe D. and Smitty's Barbell Essentials book.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind with what I got right here. I got assisted on multi-year training in weightlifting by Medvedev, the Bulgarian Olympic coach. You want to talk about like geeking out, bro?
I would love to get my hands on that book.
Like, look at that. It's just like his private journal notes.
Yep.
And stuff. No, man, like my mentor got me this when I was like starting as a strength coach. I still reference it to this day. It's amazing. It's like not even like a real book the way it's
spiral bound. It's perfect.
You want to talk about like geeking out on some books.
Oh, that I could geek out on that book for a long time.
So there you go. Like that's the stuff that's in my office that I'm looking at a lot. Like what did this guy do in Bulgaria in 1985?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and well, it's like, you know, Zach Evanesh talks all the time. It's like he got into training because he found the Russian wrestling training secrets.
Yeah.
That was written from, you know, the 60s and 70s. It's like
in Bulgaria, they had like one of the most craziest winning weightlifting teams of all time. Take out the steroids. They found it. Well, everyone was taking them off, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they started every single kid was at the age of 5, they just deadlifted for like 3 years.
Damn.
That's it. Pick the bar up, put the bar down. Pick the bar up, put the bar. That's it. Perfect deadlifts, right? So I was like, well, shit, let me apply that the same way. And I actually posted on my social media the other day my daughter doing a 90-pound deadlift at 7.
Saw that.
Kettlebell.
Yeah.
And I was like, but that's how I taught my kids how to lift. I put a 6-pound kettlebell in their little playroom when they were little babies. And I remember documenting the day they each did their first deadlift. I think Riley was 1.5 and Daniel was 2. And they just picked it up and like, big smile, like, 6-pound deadlift. They don't know what that is. And then in the gym, every time they wanted to play, I would say, okay, but you have to deadlift that kettlebell right there and I'll let you climb up the rope or something like that. And they would just do it.
Yeah.
And then one day Riley's like, I want to pick up the big one. Okay. And then she picked it up, 90 pounds. And now, but think about that. She did that when she was 7, and Riley is now the USA national champion in weightlifting in 11U.
Yeah.
Causation
or correlation, right? Let's argue, internet.
Exactly.
Fuck off. We all know why she's now a champ.
That's the same method that Medvedev wrote about in Bulgaria. Teach them how to lift from the time they're 5 by just doing a deadlift.
Yep. That's it.
Interesting. Same concept.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that I think that you and I don't disagree on, and we actually end up agreeing on it. But I want to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about your book, man. I haven't heard you mention that before. Talk to us about it. Where can people find it? Can they still get it? Like, this is badass, man. So
I wrote this book in 2016. That's when it got published. There's a link to it. I'll have to share the link when we post the podcast. It's called Building the Beast, a strength guide to adolescent development. And essentially it covers everything we talked about. It talks about, even goes into nutrition. It has a nutrition draft, how to feed your kids. It has mobility. It has just all my thoughts and everything I had done. So when I was at Harvard Westlake School, I developed a middle school strength and conditioning program. So they started in 7th grade, and I taught them how to lift. And then we did a study on all these kids, and we took, there was blood and urine samples that were done on like 30 of them, and we took height and weight, and some of the kids in that program were Lucas Giolito, Max Flaherty, which you guys know they're in the major leagues as all-stars pitchers. I believe Max is a Cardinal, and then Lucas Giolito is a White Sox.
Okay.
Is a White Sox. Then we also had Ben Halleck and Johnny Hooper, who are Olympic water polo players. They were on this last year's Olympic team.
Nice.
And there was a handful of other Division I athletes in this study. And anyway, long story short, we found that multi-joint movements done at a young age properly increases peak height potential. So the whole stunt your growth wing, which is an old wives' tale, is not true at all. Actually, if you do it correctly, it will increase a kid's own HGH stores because of multi-joint movements. It'll actually open up the growth plates and increase HGH, human growth hormone, naturally, which will help increase peak height potential at a young age. Both my kids started the plan at 6. My son is 5'10", 5'9.5", almost 5'10" at 11. My daughter's 5'2" at 10. And I've had a lot. Max Bernstein, he's another kid who I put through the program starting at 10 years old in my gym. And Max is almost 6'2" now.
Damn.
He's the #1 middle in water polo in the junior class in the state. And he's on Team USA, all the water polo accolades. And now keep in mind, Max's parents are maybe 5'10" and 5'3".
Yeah.
Max is way taller than them. So like every kid that's gone through the program, I've seen insane results with their height. And so this is the program. The book is the program that I put every kid through that was studied extensively. So Harvard Westlake let me write the book, and then when I published it, they let me keep keep all the documents and let me have it. They signed off on it, so
that's rad.
So, which is awesome, which is really cool of them to do that. And then when I left, they all went with me. So that's the book. I've been sharing with all my friends. There's a link you can share this. It's like, I can't remember how much it costs, but it's an ebook now.
Perfect.
So it doesn't have to be a hard copy. You can just get it on. You just get it right away online, and the programs are actually like right away. You can get you can literally download the Excel spreadsheets of the program that I use for every kid. So
awesome, man.
I have that now in my gym. I brought back the adolescent program in my gym. I'm not gonna lie, when I left Harvard Westlake, at the beginning of the 17 school year, I was a little burned out from coaching kids for 10 years, so I took a little hiatus.
Yep.
And I brought the program back at the gym this last year, and I'm seeing insane results with these kids that are doing it now.
Oh yeah.
Again, and I actually kind of resurrected it a little bit. Like, I could do a second version of my book, but I kind of adjusted the programs a little bit. Then I color coded them, so now kids are yellow belts, green belts, blue belts.
Oh, that's
belts,
badass.
Black belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, hey, you're a red belt now. Go good. And then their programs on the board. They look at the program, they learn how to follow programming, and they do it. And then as soon as they get through all 5 phases, they start their own sport specific training for their sport. So what we were talking about earlier with all the phases, and I had a girl the day I posted on my social media named Stella, and Stella's a softball player, and I believe she's 100 pounds, and she she deadlifted 200 pounds, she cleaned 85 pounds, she back squatted 125, front squatted 115, bench pressed 85. She's a 100-pound girl.
That's awesome.
It's incredible. All it's perfect technique.
Yeah.
Because we went over technique for so long, and now she's on our softball program. So we test them after the fact, of course, because they're dying to test the physical.
Oh yeah.
And but their technique's good, so you don't have to worry so much about them hurting themselves, right? They've been working on it for so long. So every kid in my that's at Precision Training has gone through the 5-phase program. And a lot of parents, especially the kids that I work with for the Steelers organization, Newbury Park, are starting to call me to bring their kids in to start getting working, because they see how big my kid is and how coordinated he is, and other kids that are working with me, and they're like, I got to get my kid in there. Yep. But still, it's a big educational process, because I'm still seeing parents that would rather spend $1,500 for a receiver coach for their kid to teach their kid how to catch the ball better, and he's going to teach them how to run faster too, but last I checked, strength equals speed, not the other way around. So if you don't have the development of muscles, especially in the posterior chain, you're not going to be faster. So I'm charging a discounted rate for this for my kids, like really low per monthly fee, just to get them in the gym. Not an astronomical fee, but anyway, that's another conversation. But so the book is rad. It's called Building the Beast, and I'm sure we can post a link.
Yeah, man.
Easily, yeah.
Let's do that. And then tell everybody where they can find you on the socials.
Social media, just at Tromello, MTROMELLO, and then at Precision CrossFit. You can find that's my gym. That's another way to find me. That's all I really have now. I don't have all the other stuff, and the only reason why I have Instagram still is because I can post about my kids and tag other college coaches who follow them. Honest to God,
that's perfect.
Like I do post a lot of things about what I'm doing, and it's fun, but I really have it so that my kids can get seen as well, and that's a big deal these days. College coaches are watching Twitter and they're watching Instagram, so
all the time, man. It's the only reason why I'm on Twitter, is to help promote the kids.
You know, it's all about the kids.
Awesome, brother. I think we'll finish there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave some reviews. We're gonna blow this fucker up, dude.
Do.
Awesome, Mike. Thanks so much.
That was a blast.